All right, so introduction to data viz. What exactly is data viz and what are we going to be learning? So what, why, and how data viz? So formally, data visualization is the process of creating effective visuals to display complex trends in data. So think about all of the data that is collected out there in the world, especially for businesses, right? How do we make sense of that? Rather than just looking at all of the raw data, just looking at a bunch of numbers, often we use visuals to kind of combine lots of data at the same time and make it easier to see patterns and recognize trends, right? That's why data viz is so useful. And the context in which we do data visualization is there's kind of two main purposes. The first one is going to be to explore, to find trends. So sometimes we're kind of looking for patterns. We don't have anything from the outset that we're looking for. We're trying to figure out, learn from the data. That's kind of one aspect that we can use data viz. The second is going to be explaining a research question. So this is when we already have our plan formulated, right? Let's say we just launched a new product and we want to figure out how the sales have changed since this new product. We already have the goal in mind and we want to use the visual to kind of illuminate what effect that new thing has had. In terms of how we're going to use data viz or how we actually do data visualization, it all comes from the knowledge of kind of these three aspects. We have to know how to use the software. So for us, that means Excel, Tableau, and R, or we have to use the tools in order to make the end product. But we also have to have some more creative elements. So we have to think about how we're going to design those visuals, what goes into it, what color choices we use, all those different aspects into the design of the visual. And then we also, bigger picture, want to tie it into a narrative. So a lot of times you're not just going to be presenting a single picture with no background information, right? You're going to be presenting your visuals at a meeting to clients, to whoever. And when we tie all of those three elements in, that is when we get storytelling with data. So that is going to be kind of the big picture goal of this course, is to learn these three different elements and eventually make stories from our data. And that's kind of visualized in this diagram here. So on the right, this is typically where you start. You have a bunch of data. You don't really know what you're looking for. You just kind of see if anything pops out. That's going to be that exploration piece. On the left, we have the explanation. So this is when you have a goal, a target in mind, and you're using the software to demonstrate what that data is telling you for that specific target. And when you combine the two, that's when you started out with data, learned some things from it, then developed some questions to answer, tied them all together, and explained them to the audience. That is data storytelling. Another way you can think about it is the product life cycle of a data visualization. So we are going to be starting with messy raw data, right? Ugly. We can't get any information from this. So we're going to be learning how to go from this step to a very nice, pretty plot. So there's a lot of things that go into this. So on the left side here, we have the data. Data is never going to be in the form that we want. So it's going to require some cleaning, whether that be filling in missing values like NA, or renaming variables, getting rid of some rows that don't meet the criteria that we need. And then we also have to kind of combine, collapse, aggregate, make new variables, find new calculations, all of that sort of thing, in order to turn that into a structure, a form that we need for the specific type of plot that we want. And making the plot isn't so simple, right? There's a lot of design elements that go into it. Everything from the color choice, where to put the labels, what type of plot to use, what type of titles to give it, right? All of these things are going to be going into how to make an informative and accurate plot. So what does data viz mean for us in this course, Dana 320? So we are going to learn how to create reports and charts in Excel. That's where we're going to start. And that is going to be kind of working with the numbers directly in Excel, right? Excel is a very kind of direct, you're really in there with the data. That is where we're going to start. And then we're going to move to Tableau. So we're going to spend like 3 to 4 weeks in Excel and then 5 or 6 weeks in Tableau. And Tableau, if we're not familiar, this is a data visualization software that lets you easily create kind of interactive dashboards. So here is an example, but what I mean by interactive is that when I mouse over these objects, right, some information pops up. So this is going to be a very, very neat, very cool way and a relatively simple way to create very powerful images, very powerful plots. And then the last 6 or 7 weeks of the semester, we're going to move to R, and eventually we're going to end up with creating similar dashboards to Tableau, but we're going to be using code to make it. So R is all about programming. So we're going to be coding how to make these plots, how to make these dashboards. So that's kind of big picture where our course is headed. So in closing, why is this class relevant to you as an undergraduate data science major, data analytics? So for starters, right, data visualization is very relevant, and the skills involved in this kind of translate to lots and lots of job opportunities. So if I just go to Indeed right now, and I'll type in data visualization, ability to integrate data, right? That's going to just be working with data, different sources, combining them. We're going to learn some of those skills, right? Visualization, that pops up. Data visualization, right? So there's going to be a lot of keywords in these job posting of things that we're going to cover. So that is one reason. And in our class specifically, there's going to be lots and lots of opportunities for you to practice. So whether that be the exercises that I kind of mentioned in the previous video, or really taking advantage of the reading and really trying to take your time and understand the reading and not just do it to answer the Canvas quiz questions. And that's kind of my challenge to you, is try to make the most of this class. So there's going to be lots of ways that you can kind of do additional work, spend more time kind of messing around with things, different solutions possibly. So that is my challenge to you, is try to make the most of this class to make it as rewarding as possible. And I hope that this is the start of your software programming journey at Ball State, and also extending beyond your graduation into the job force. So I will see you in the next video.